Cross includes real-life serial killer Aileen Wuornos in its fictional narrative, raising many questions about her crimes, prison sentence, and significance in the show's story. Based on James Patterson's Alex Cross books, Amazon Prime Video's Cross introduces an eccentric serial killer, dubbed the Fanboy Killer, who makes his victims look like famous murderers before killing them. With this twisted ritual, he hopes to kill 12 victims and almost ends up reaching his goal. After murdering 11 people, he targets a woman, Shannon, who he believes will look exactly like Aileen Wuornos with some minor changes to her appearance. However, to his dismay, his target is cut short when Alex Cross races against time and manages to save Shannon before it is too late. Since the Fanboy Killer manages to make Shannon look a lot like Aileen Wuornos towards Cross Season 1's ending moments, it is hard not to be curious about Wuornos' real criminal history and why the show's villain is so obsessed with her. Aileen Wuornos is one of the most notorious serial killers in history, her crimes explained. She was sentenced to death for 6 murders. Serial killers Aileen Wuornos, Richard Ramirez, John Wayne Gacy. Within a span of 12 months, from November 30, 1989, to November 19, 1990, Aileen Wuornos killed 7 men between the ages of 40 and 65. Soon after being arrested in January 1991, she confessed to the crimes, claiming that she murdered the men in self-defense after they tried to sexually assault her. During her courtroom trial, psychiatrists for the defense testified she had borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. However, despite this, she was sentenced to death for her crimes. Aileen Wuornos' trial was highly controversial because even after the defense presented evidence about how one of her victims, Richard Charles Mallory, had been convicted of attempted rape and even served a sentence in a maximum security prison, the judge denied her request for a retrial. Throughout 1992 and 1993, Wuornos gradually pleaded no contest and guilty to almost all the murders, leading her to receive one death sentence after another. Since one of her victims' bodies was never found, she was not charged with his murder, leaving her with a total of 6 death sentences. How and when Aileen Wuornos died in real life? She was executed in 2002 through lethal injection. Aileen Wuornos in court. In Amazon's Cross, the Fanboy Killer tries to recreate the final moments of renowned serial killers by not only making his victims look like them but also emulating the process that was used for their execution. The real Aileen Wuornos was executed through a lethal injection on October 9, 2002, which is exactly what the Fanboy Killer, Ed Ramsey, attempts to do to Shannon in Cross before Alex Cross stops him. Aileen Wuornos' last words before her death were as follows: realizing that his victim, Shannon, will not recite Aileen Wuornos' final words, Ed Ramsey delightfully reads them out himself before starting the execution. With this, the Amazon Prime Video detective series adds a layer of immersiveness to its fictional storyline. Although the show is jam-packed with over-the-top twists and logic-defying story developments, its references to real-life criminals and disturbing historical events ground its storyline in realism. Why the Fanboy Killer is turning Shannon into Aileen Wuornos, Ed's plan explained. The Fanboy Killer idolizes famous serial killers in Cross. As his name suggests, the Fanboy Killer in Cross idolizes famous serial killers. By creating their twins and recreating the events leading up to their deaths, he believes he is pursuing an artistic endeavor. He also seems to have a God complex, where he believes he is playing God by bringing new life to the serial killers he admires and manipulating death by recreating the final moments of people who have already passed away. Cross Season 1's ending also suggests that Ed Ramsey believes he is creating a legacy for himself through his violent acts. He wishes to be remembered as a notorious serial killer and hopes to see his name among the greatest criminal minds in history. Ramsey's morbid fascination with renowned killers and their gruesome line of crime stems from his undying need for attention. Owing to this, when law enforcers in Cross realize he wants to be charged for all his crimes, they intentionally bury almost all evidence surrounding his previous murders and only arrest him for one murder and an attempted murder.